Let's go back to the lead story that we are tracking on NewsHour, and that is that justice has not been served even 15 years after the heinous 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. So why is that the case? Why has Pakistan been dragging its feet and made the trial a sham one within its territory? To talk about that, we are being joined by Alok Bansal, Director of India Foundation and a security expert. Mr. Bansal, welcome to DD India NewsHour. Did the 26/11 attack cost Pakistan its image dearly as it mounted a sham trial, worked on diverse ways to sabotage it and denied access to India to any accused on its soil?
There is no doubt that Pakistan's image did take a beating, but we must understand that Pakistan had been sponsoring terrorism for a long time and India had been telling the international community for a long time. But after 26/11, since it came after 9/11 and India had a lot of credible evidence to give, and the large number of international citizens were also targeted, the international community took greater cognizance of it. And all the sham trials that happened after that have actually put Pakistan in the box, because initially Pakistan denied that any of the perpetrators were Pakistani citizens. It was actually a Pakistani media which actually went to the surviving terrorist Kasab's home and broke the story that he's from so-and-so place, and which again left Pakistan with no excuse and no face to show to the world. When the entire conspiracy was unearthed, all the tapes, that the communication that was happening between the handlers and the terrorists was also given to the international community. And subsequently, when India wanted the perpetrators or the main people who were behind this attack to be tried and punished, Pakistan has just done nothing. They have gone through a sham trials, have asked for more evidence, and have not allowed Indian investigators to provide them with access to these individuals who have been directing the attackers at that particular moment.
All right, Mr. Bansal, what you are saying is extremely important. Also, did the little action that Pakistan take in the case of Sajid Mir, for instance, who had guided terrorists in real time in that control room in Karachi, was because its hand was forced due to FATF, and hence under duress, Pakistan had to make Sajid Mir miraculously come back from the dead in 2022. So has the world seen through Pakistan's web of deceit and lies, that it only acted when its hand was forced, when it had no other option but to take some sort of action?
This we have seen on numerous occasions. When FATF meeting was to take place, they put Masood Azhar under a certain sort of arrest. Hafiz Saeed was also put under some sort of a house arrest. But immediately after FATF gives them clearance, we see that these perpetrators are moving freely within Pakistan. So this has been the tactics which Pakistan has used many a times. Many terror outfits are legally outlawed, but they transform and metamorph into a new entity and keep functioning as hitherto. So this has been the practice. Pakistan has to be forced, and as long as FATF sword was hanging on their head, they would at least act on some of the things when actions were being taken, when there were meetings of FATF, etc. But of late, we have seen that even when we are trying to designate some of these terrorists as international terrorists, they have received some support from Chinese authorities, which have prevented many of these dreaded terrorists from declared as global terrorists. And that's been the case in Security Council. So that's been the thing, and I think Pakistan has not actually improved. We have seen what happened after that. They've tried the similar tactics in Afghanistan, and now even the new Afghan government, which supposedly was propped up by Pakistan, is also having problems with Pakistan.
Absolutely. Mr. Bansal, did India's handling of diplomacy and its strategic moves post 26/11 put the spotlight on Pakistan's record on terrorism? Would you credit India for that, with India being able to portray with evidence that Pakistan's ISI and military was plotting and perpetrating terrorist attacks on India, and the world finally recognized instead of ignoring India's concerns as it had done in the past?
There is no doubt. I think we were successful in showing to the international community credible evidence of Pakistan's involvement. And firstly, I think this particular event was so ghastly and so widespread. And in fact, it was played out on the media channels that people knew what was happening, and I think people could react to it, they could relate to it. And as a result, there was a huge condemnation of this event from the international community. There were citizens of various other countries which were also the victims in this particular attack. And subsequently, when we actually provided them with foolproof evidence as to how people were controlling it from across the borders, I think they had no ground to stand on. They had to accept it, and I think they accepted some things, but eventually it came to naught. And that's what is sad, because even Headley came here, his interrogation also by different places actually brought out what was happening, and all those things have happened. And that's what I'm saying, that in this particular incident, I think the international community had seen what Pakistan's complicity was. And of course, subsequently, Pakistan was placed in FATF grey list because certain financial transactions with various outfits were also found that they were not meeting the international norms. And as long as Pakistan was on the FATF grey list, I think they were a little more amenable. But as far as the trials of these main accused are concerned, Lakhvi, etc., Hafiz Saeed, etc., we have really not seen any progress as far as this particular ghastly crime was concerned.
Yes, the trial was a sham one, like we've been saying. It was sabotaged. India did carry out its trial, and like you're saying, that David Coleman Headley did come here. He's been sentenced. Tawavur Hussain Rana, though, hasn't been extradited as yet. But the question that still remains is, how will the survivors of 26/11 get closure in such a situation?
See, I think the closure will come up when these people who were the perpetrators, who know people like Hafiz Saeed, etc., are, I think, punished either by the Pakistani government or by the international community, or are eradicated by Indian agencies or something, by some sort of an action, because such perpetrators, such terrorists cannot be allowed to roam scot-free on the surface of the earth when they have caused so much of pain and anguish to hapless, innocent citizens of India and other countries. Absolutely. And I think the international community must come together to pressurize Pakistan to hand over this ghastly criminal to justice.
Absolutely. Pakistan shouldn't have it easy. We leave it at that, Mr. Bansal. Appreciate you joining us with your views on this.